Hello, hello, and welcome back into the Kindred Kitchen. My name is Pam, and V is behind the camera.
Hello, hello.
And we are the Kindred Vegans, if you haven't met us before. Today, we are going to be making a carrot soup, and I'm also going to be talking about the pressure cooker so that you can get a little bit of an idea about the pressure cooker. So if you're just joining us for the first time, make sure you go down below and hit that subscribe button. You have stumbled onto our 25 days of Christmas. We do this every year where we come out with 25 new videos, one every day through December, the first 25 days of December. So we're glad you're joining us. Okay, so let's get into the carrot soup. And the first thing I'm gonna do is start some garbanzo beans pressure cooking. Now I had some that were pre-cooked when I batch cooked, so I'm gonna use some of these. But if you don't have them, use a can. Just one escaped. Just make sure you...
Now you said, what are you gonna do with these?
Well, I'm gonna tell you.
Oh, okay.
So if you want to use canned, that's fine too. Just make sure you drain them and rinse them. We're going to just put a little salt and pepper on these and then crisp them up in the air fryer. I just think that the carrot soup is a blended soup, so it's kind of a creamier soup. But I think it needs a little bit of a crunch on top. I don't know, that always just bumps things up. So I'm just going to add like a half a teaspoon of salt and just a pinch of pepper. Then I'm going to mix them up. Just a half a pinch of pepper. Let's mix them up. And I'm going to toss these into the air fryer. And these will only take about 20 minutes in an air fryer, okay? All right. I can move these two. Now, for the soup, this is a great one because it's kind of a dump it and then put the pressure cooker on and leave it and, you know, let it go. But let's go over the ingredients. I am going to, and we'll put all these ingredients down below. I'm going to put a little bit of broth in here just to start. I use about 2 quarts. This is my homemade broth, and I will link that down below, but I'm just going to start out with about 1 quart. And then I'm going to add 2 pounds of carrots. I have already washed these, and you know, we're pressure cooking them, so I don't really need to cut them up small. I'm going to blend it at the end. Oh, that one's a big one. A big fat carrot. And then we're going to add 1 yellow squash once I get these. And I wanted to say, you know, you can use whatever vegetables you have on hand. If you don't have a yellow squash, you can use a zucchini. If I were using a zucchini, I would probably peel it just because you don't want your carrot soup to turn out brown. You kind of want it to be orange. Yeah. So, you know, if I were using the zucchini, I'd just peel it first. But, you know, by all means. And now I have a yellow squash going in.
And if I remember, this is your take on your own version of the soup, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You had one where you would add coconut milk to it, right?
Yes.
So this is more 50-50 and fat-free.
It is, definitely. Yep. And I am putting in, I usually put in just 2 celery stalks, but these were real small. So I've got 4 small celery stalks here. I have 3 large potatoes. I have 1 onion here. And then I have a 2-inch piece of ginger that I've just peeled and chopped up rather than, you know, shred it up. And then I've got 5 cloves of garlic here.
That's actually really good. And in the holidays sometimes when you want something light.
And it's nice and warm, you know, so it's getting chilly out. So we need warm food.
Yeah.
If you've ever lost a lot of weight, you know that as you lose weight, you lose that body fat insulation, that layer. So you need this. Okay, I'm just going to put in curry powder, and I'm using a tablespoon here. Now, if you like it spicy, you know, you could either add more ginger and more garlic, but you could also add some cayenne pepper to that to make it a little spicier. I'm going to have 1.5 teaspoons of salt. I'm just going to use a rounded teaspoon here. I always add less salt when I'm cooking and add a little bit more at the end because you can taste your food. I think you should taste it before you add the salt. And then I'm using about 1/2 teaspoon of pepper and dry mango powder. I'm going to put 2 teaspoons in. That's dry mango powder. And I did not have a lemon on hand when I made this, so I just used my dry mango powder. And yeah, so good. So I'm going to put in just a couple of teaspoons. More is always better of dry mango powder. And let me grab a spoon here, see if I can mix it up a little bit. Actually, I'm gonna add on the broth, and I can get those seasonings down in. Rinse off my spoon. I don't want my seasonings stuck. So this is 2 quarts of broth right here and all my veggies. There, doesn't it look so good? Okay, now let's talk about the pressure cooker, because this is what we're gonna use. If you've never used one, this is the Ninja Foodie. The Instapots work similarly, because I've used my friend's Instapot, and it works pretty much the same way. I have a stovetop pressure cooker at home, but this is so much easier than getting out that big stovetop.
And it's not as noisy as that. My kids always like that it's not noisy as a stovetop pressure cooker.
And you're not heating up your stove. You don't have to do that. So on here you have on the top of here you have a seal and a vent setting. So you want to make sure it's on seal. And put it on, make sure it's on seal. Come around here a little bit. Now here's the front. We're going to turn it on. We're going to pressure cook it. It's vegetables in here, so it doesn't take much time, but I want them nice and soft. So I'm going to do 5 minutes in the pressure cooker. And then I just hit the start button. And it's going to do the work for me. And you'll see on the top here is this little button here. When it reaches pressure, this will pop up, and then my counter will start counting down. And then it'll beep when it's done. And if you let it go, it will normally come down to pressure, or you can turn this to vent and you can quick release the pressure. So we're gonna let this go, and we're gonna let the garbanzo beans be roasting up there in the air fryer, and we'll be back. So the timer went off, the pressure cooking is done, and I did a quick release. So I took it from seal, I turned it to vent, and it quick released. So now my little stopper here is down, and now I'm just gonna remove the lid. And I know these are all vegetables, so I know they are cooked. Oh, it smells really good. That curry powder really smells good. And I am going to blend this up with the immersion blender, and then we'll be back because this is quite noisy, so I will cut this out of the video. Okay, so it is done. Let me move this over to the sink here. And the potatoes in here make it really nice and creamy and thick, and it's just so good. And our garbanzo beans are nice and crispy. And I know there's not as many as we started with, because V and I have been snacking on these. They're just so good. I see you
eyeing them, though. I see you eyeing them.
They're just so nice and crispy and good. And these make a delicious snack if you haven't, done this. Throw these in here with a little salt and pepper or a little taco seasoning or something. I take these to the movies. Instead of popcorn, I'll take some air-fried garbanzo beans. Okay, but back to the dish at hand. So if you don't have an immersion blender, you can always just stick this in a regular blender. Whatever blender you have. If you have one of the bullet blenders, or if you have just a stand blender, stick it in there and blend it up. But see there? Now let's add a few crunchy nuggets on top. And there you have it. Nice and beautiful. Well, that's how you use the Ninja as well, or an Instapot, because I've used that too, and they operate similarly. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you leave us a comment. Do you have a Ninja or an Instapot? Do you pressure cook? Because I'd love to know how many people out there use their pressure cooker routinely every day for food. I know V and I use the pressure cooker a lot. So yeah, go down and comment down below. Make sure you're subscribed. All right, so go to our website, kindredvegans.com, sign up for the newsletter. We have a lot of new recipes and tips and tricks, and we let you know how we're losing weight and how to eat whole food plant-based. And don't forget to show up tomorrow for more of the 25 days of Christmas. We have such a good time with these 25 days of Christmas, thinking up new ideas and bringing you new recipes. So check us out tomorrow. We'll see you later. Bye for now.